Hi, Mr. Cubany.
What is a pure competition market model?
It's a model of competition that is pure.
From an estimated a pure company.
Oh, this is funny. Okay, honestly, I don't really know, but it's probably like an equal amount of people wanting to buy something and an equal amount of people selling it or something. I don't know. So like, it works perfectly. I don't know. It's a perfect system. Like with buying houses, where like there's always one house for one family. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
Like when there are a lot of people competing for like property or something like that.
I think it's a model of two different sets of data that are being competed against each other.
Pure competition is when there is a product that anybody can supply. So like vegetables, in the farming industry is one. There are many companies, so the price is set.
I honestly have no idea what that even means. But when I think of market, I just think of like the store. I don't know, like your local grocery store. I don't know.
Okay. I'm assuming that it's kind of the most basic form of capitalism. If there's no like regulation or anything, it's just whatever companies want to enter and do whatever they want. They can just compete with each other to do the best product.
What sets the price for a firm in a pure competition?
What?
I have no idea what that means.
I don't know. I've never taken this class.
Doing well. Success.
The price? Probably whatever the lowest price, right? That would make more sense.
It's a great question. Sets the price. I'm guessing like a higher authority, obviously. So.
Farmers have a say in their prices.
I think they do.
What I've learned from my grandpa, no.
I want to say yes, but I'm thinking no, just because with like the economy now, I feel like they have less of a say.
I mean, they should, but that doesn't mean they do.
You know, I don't know, but I'm just gonna say no because it sounds right.
In a perfect competition market, there are a lot of firms. The type of product is standardized, meaning everyone is selling the same exact product, so they have no control over the price. The individual firms are considered price takers. There are no barriers to entry, meaning it is extremely easy for firms to jump in and out of the market. There is no non-price competition, which means there is no advertising because, again, all firms are selling the same product. The biggest example of this is agriculture. This is the graph showing the market and firm of pure competition. The market has an upsloping supply curve and a downsloping demand curve. The intersection point of these two curves show the equilibrium quantity and price. The equilibrium price of the market determines the price as well as the demand curve of the individual firms. The demand curve is also the same as the marginal revenue and average revenue curves. The average fixed cost curve decreases because the fixed cost does not change as quantity increases. This is the marginal cost, average variable cost, and average total cost curves. ATC gets closer to AVC because ATC is AVC plus AFC. MR equals MC is where you find the quantity. This point represents where firms operate in the long run. In the short run, there are 3 different case studies. The first is profit maximizing. Price is above ATC. The price at ATC is subtracted from the price where MR equals MC, and then this is multiplied by the quantity, showing the profit. The next case is loss minimizing, where price is between AVC and ATC.
Since you are operating below ATC, the area between demand and ATC is where you find the loss.
This demand curve is the shutdown point because price is equal to AVC, meaning you can choose whether to continue operating or shut down. In this last case, the price is below AVC and the firm must shut down because they cannot cover their costs.
What is a monopolistic competition market model?
When a lot of people are competing for property during monopoly.
Well, it's definitely, this is obviously not right, but probably like two companies fighting against each other.
Okay, well, I know what a monopoly is, but I don't know what that would mean.
That would be between two monopolies or high companies that the model represents their business growth.
When companies compete to get a monopoly over things.
Oh, maybe the pure one is like different people have like parts of it, and the monopolistic one is like it's just one company.
I believe that would just be when the equilibrium is controlled by the demand and supply of the market.
Do pizza stores have a say in their prices?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, pizzas, like, they should, I hope so, but again, I have no idea. Like, they make the food, they should have a say. I think they do, right? Like, every pizza place has a different price for pizza.
I feel like they should. If they don't, then that's a shame. But
For how much they charge for their pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. What allows stores like pizza stores to have different prices?
maybe based off of the food or where the food's coming from, like the supplies, like the ingredients are coming from.
Well, they sell what they make, like farmers. They sell to stores, but the stores sell to that. So, yeah, they have more control.
Like, however many people come to the stores. If, like, it's a super busy store, maybe they can offer lower prices, or they could offer higher prices because they know they have loyal customers. And then with like not really busy pizza places that don't have a lot of customers, I really wish I could think of a word here, but they would have to make prices higher. I don't know.
Supply and demand. If they're in an area where there's not many pizza places around and there's a high demand for their pizza, then they have more of a say. Whereas if there's less of a demand and they have to keep it at a certain price, otherwise they won't attract business, then that's what it is.
Because they're selling it, whereas they're selling their own product that they're making, whereas what's their name? Like farmers are selling to people who are buying. Like I don't know how to explain it. Pizza stores can set their prices because they're trying to sell to multiple people, like different people, whereas other people sell, like farmers sell to one person who then sells to other people. So they are they don't have a middleman. They're their entire person, their entire company. Unless it's like Domino's, then it's like, I don't know how that works.
In a monopolistic competition market model, there are many different firms. The product is differentiated, so they have some control over the price.
It's relatively easy to enter and exit the market. There's some non-price competition through advertising as well as brand names and trademarks. Examples of these markets are pizza stores, clothing stores, and other retail markets.
What does it mean to have monopoly power?
You got a lot of money. Like a lot. You have monopoly power if you have a lot of money through controlling a lot of stuff.
When you have a lot of pieces in a board game.
When something or someone has power over like an entire thing or industry.
Like, if you're a company, you're the one that, like, controls everything. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So like the first thing I think of is like that oil company. I don't know. I don't remember his name. But like one company like owned all the oil, and so, or almost all the oil or something. So they got super rich, and other oil companies couldn't make any money.
Assuming that it's when a monopoly controls a certain amount of a resource in an area just because they own it all, so they can control what people get of it, depending on like if the people are nice to the company or if they're doing what they want.
I would say it's, I guess, similar to my last thing, the ability to charge whatever price you want and to control the market.
Monopoly power is determined by either the four-firm concentration ratio or the Herfindahl index. The four-firm concentration ratio is the biggest four firms' percentages of sales. To find the percentage, divide the sales of the four largest firms by the total output of the industry. The larger the percentages, the more monopoly power the four firms have. In an example, different pizza stores have different amounts of output. Say the total is 40 million and the total output of the industry is a billion. The ratio is 4%.
However, the four-firm ratio does not provide a clear picture when distinguishing whether a market is an oligopoly or a monopolistic competition market. For this reason, another way to find monopoly power is with the Herfindahl index, which is the sum of all percentages of market shares squared. By squaring the percentages, more weight is given to the firms with larger market shares. In this example, the Herfindahl index is 1702. A pure monopoly would have a Herfindahl index of 100 squared, which is 10,000. So the market in the example has some monopoly power.
What is an oligopoly?
Oligopoly?
An oligopoly?
Oligopoly. I have no idea. A monopoly around oil.
I have no idea. Is it like, like there are multiple companies in one area that like dominate like more than one, I guess?
I have no idea.
Well, illegal means few. So it's less monopoly. So you don't have a monopoly at all? You're like a tiny? Maybe it's like you're a mini monopoly. You know, like you only have half of the stuff because the other guy has all of the stuff.
Monopoly is similar to Monopoly, but it's when multiple firms have control. So like phone services like AT&T and that would be an example.
When multiple things have power over an industry.
In an oligopoly, there are only a few firms. The product they sell can either be standardized or differentiated. The control over price depends on the others in the market, especially when it comes to collusion.
There are significant obstacles to entry. This is the biggest model in non-price competition when it comes to advertising. Examples are car and phone service companies.
In imperfectly competitive markets, demand is downsloping and MR is below demand due to the law of diminishing marginal returns.
This is the ATC and MC curves. MR equals MC is where you find the quantity. To find the price that leaves your hand, extend the line up to demand. Thanks, Mr. Keaveney.
What is a monopoly?
As far as I know, it's a board game.
I guess it's like a company that like dominates a certain area of the market.
Monopoly is when a company has complete control over a market, so they can charge whatever price they like.
It's like when a company or someone holds power over like an entire industry, right? Like it's like they control everything.
It's a business that takes over all the other competition and doesn't leave room for competitors, I think.
It's when a business controls kind of everything that there is in one certain area. So like I know Pico has a monopoly over the electrical supply around here. And so normally that kind of decreases competition if there's one company over everything, right? So I know that the government often tries to break up monopolies just because it's not conducive to like competition and innovation.
Pure monopolies have one and only one firm. The product is entirely unique with no close substitutes. They have a considerable amount of control over price, and entry is blocked. One of the biggest reasons why monopolies are able to maintain their power is their barriers to entry. The first barrier is the economies of scale. Since monopolies have been in the market longer, they have been able to reach the lowest point of the economies of scale, meaning they can operate at a very low ATC. A new competitor would not be able to realize such a low ATC, so they would be outcompeted by the monopoly.
Second is legal barriers such as patents and licenses. These give rights and permission for use of a specific product. Third is the control of resources, where monopolies own a majority of a resource, preventing new firms from entering the market. Finally, pricing and strategic barriers give monopolies an advantage over new firms. Non-price competition is just getting their name known to the public through public relations advertising. Most monopolies are local utilities such as Pico and Aqua PA.
In pure monopolies, there can be regulations enforced to create fairer prices. One strategy is the socially optimal price, which is where price equals MC. In fair return price, price equals ATC.